Hey guys and girls, and welcome to this Acorn Vision gaming tutorial with me, Alan. And today I will be talking to you about my personal method for trying to rank up faster in Uncharted 3 multiplayer. Now, this is just one of many methods out there, as there usually are for people's tactics on doing this, that and the other. But I experimented quite a bit with different ways of trying to earn cash faster or earn more cash while I was trying to hit level 75, and as I hit the lower 60s I decided to try this out, and it worked quite well. There were some games where I didn't make as much money as I would have liked, but when I did well I could really rake in the cash, and so I'm here today to share it with you. Now, it's a fairly simple tactic, there's no fancy nonsense about it, but I should point out that if you're here looking for a quick fix to get yourself up to the top rank in no time at all, it's not going to happen. Just like anything else in life, you have to work for it. You have to put in a bit of time, a bit of effort, but hopefully if you make use of this method, I aim to cut down the amount of time you spend ranking up by a little bit or a bit more depending how good you are. So let's get started. Weapons, primary, secondary, doesn't really matter. Whatever you're good at using, stick with it. That's my first piece of advice. Pick a weapon, stick with that weapon, get to know that weapon, use that weapon. The more practice you put in with that weapon, the better you're going to get with it, and that means more kills means more money. It's as simple as that. Mods. As tempting as it is to buy every single mod for your weapon, don't. You're not going to use them all, and at most you can add 2 onto your gun at any one time. So pick a couple of mods at most, whichever ones will help you get the most kills, stick them on, keep them on, keep using it. I don't know how much you rely on your secondary weapon, your pistol, but again, stick with one, get to know it, get good at using it, stick on a mod that's going to help you get more kills. Moving on to boosters. I don't think it matters what booster you use in slot 1. In slot 1, use whatever it is that you normally use, or whatever it is going to help you do better in whatever game mode or scenarios that you think will occur in the game. Now, slot 2, this one, I recommend, in fact this is the part of the tutorial, so I'm saying use bargain. Bargain, if you didn't already know, cuts down the number of medals you need before you can activate your medal kickback. Tier 1 of bargain allows this reduction to be 1, so it cuts back the number of medals you need by 1. Tier 2 doesn't really do anything apart from change the colour of your kickback to gold, so you always shine gold as opposed to the colour of the individual kickback. Tier 3, now this is the one that you want. If you haven't already got your bargain booster up to tier 3, you want to be working on that. But you can just keep using it until you get to tier 3, and this is when you will have 2 medals knocked off the number needed before you can call in your kickback. So you can really use this method whenever you want. You can use this from the get-go, from rank 1. Well, okay, not rank 1 because you need to unlock it and buy it and so on. But as soon as you get it, you can just keep using it until you get tier 3, and then when you're at tier 3, the method will be even more efficient for you and you'll rank up even faster. And now we move on to why I'm not recommending the buddy boosters. Now, there are some people out there who say that the buddy boosters are a viable method, but I don't think so. Not in most cases anyway. And the reason for this is the buddy boosters rely on your buddy. Now, if you're playing with a bunch of strangers online, a bunch of randoms, then you don't know how good your partner is going to be. Even if you get a buddy, remember that, because there are 5 people and 4 of those are going to pairs, but there is always one person who hasn't got a buddy. So you got to bear that in mind. So that's the first thing. If you don't get a buddy, then that's wasted. But it relies too much on the other person being good for you to get any rewards. If they don't do very well, then you get nothing. and then that's also a waste of a booster slot. So I recommend sticking with whatever it is you normally use or whatever you do best with, and don't leave it up to fate, don't leave it to chance. Rely on your skill, your ability to make you the money. Okay, so that rounds up the boosters. Now for the medal kickback. Now the one that you want to be using is cash 'em in. Now if you don't know what cash 'em in is, it is a kickback that doubles your earnings, cash earnings, for I believe 30 seconds. Now some of you might be thinking 30 seconds, not very long, how much money could I make in that time, so what am I really doubling? Well, you'd be surprised. I've been in certain scenarios where in the space of a few seconds, a couple of kills, I've managed to get 5+ medals. You know, they stack up really quickly. You can sometimes get into a situation where you just constantly are earning medals because you just happen to be at that point in the game where you've reached this, that and the other target. So don't worry about it too much. You can get a lot of medals and you can earn quite a bit of cash by doubling. And now moving on to the final part of the setup, and that is paid boosters. Now you won't be able to do this from the off. If you're starting out at rank 1, you can't be spending your money on these paid boosters because they're quite expensive. Useful but quite expensive. So once you've reached a certain rank, say I don't know, early 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever, whenever you reach a stage where you can spend a few thousand and not worry if you don't make too much of a return on them, you can invest in the bargain paid booster. Now this works just the same way as the normal bargain booster from slot 2, and it will knock off an additional medal from the number of medals before you can call it your medal kickback. And this leads up to me explaining the theory behind my proposed tactic, and it's simply this. Once you have bargain from booster slot 2 at max rank, i.e. tier 3, whereby you have the maximum of 2 medals knocked off, and you combine this with the paid booster that you buy before a game starts, you can have 3 medals knocked off your medal kickback. Now if you're using both of those and cash 'em in medal kickback, then you can effectively call in your medal kickback every single medal that you earn, because cash 'em in costs 4 medals. So you take away the 3, that leaves you with 1 medal. So every time you earn a medal, you just hit that call in button, boom. Everything you do for the next 30 seconds, you will double up on. And bear in mind that you can get a medal for calling in your medal kickback 3 times in a match. And I've had games where I've used this tactic and I've managed to get 3 medal kickback king, I think it's called, like several times in the course of a game. And don't forget that this 3 medal kickback king medal is also doubled just for calling him in. And I've had games where I've achieved so many of these, so many medal kickbacks that I've got a stack of them just waiting to be called in. I mean, they don't stack, but you know what I mean, I could have called in several times more. And so this leads me on to the next important part, and it's that don't be afraid to call it in straight away, because you never know when the next medal is going to occur. And if you happen to be using the kickback at the time when you earn a medal, the next one will be ready and waiting for as soon as that one that you're currently on runs out. So just call it in as soon as you get it. Obviously, if the game is just sort of started and you haven't really seen much action yet, then you could hold out for a bit until you come into conflict with someone. So if you've just earned it because you got the first kill, or if you just earned it because you just picked up the idol in plunder at first, then you can maybe hold out until you get into a confrontation with some enemy players, and you just call it in before you get into that firefight. But once the game is progressed, so you're like halfway through or a few minutes into the game and it's well underway, then you want to be just hitting that button, calling it in as soon as you get it. And trust me, you'll just have a depending on how well you play and how much action you get, you'll have a constant stream of kickbacks to call in, and everything you do will pretty much be doubled. Kills, captures, objectives taken, just whatever medals you earn, everything double. And you'll see what I mean by how this method can just properly earn you some do-re-mi. And the more you use it, the more you use this tactic, the more you'll understand and use it more effectively. So just give it a try, see what you think, see how it works out for you. And I should point out at this stage that I only really recommend this tactic for long length games. Short games such as free-for-all, or games where you're not going to get a lot of action such as team deathmatch, well, depending on how good you are. But for games like Plunder, which can last up to a maximum of 20 minutes, or certain team objective games which can sometimes drag on a bit, these games are the ones you want to be employing this tactic. And especially with the paid booster, you don't want to be spending that in short games because you're just not going to see a return. The longer the game is, the more medals you're going to earn. The more medals you earn, the more kickbacks you can call in. The more kickbacks you call in, the more money you make. It's that simple. Now, some of you out there might be shouting at me, well, not shouting at me, but some of you might be saying, but Alan, you forgot to mention negative boosters. Well, I haven't forgotten to mention them, I'm mentioning them now. But negative boosters, if you didn't know, come back from Uncharted 2. They were in the competitive side there as well, and they basically, they put you at a disadvantage, but they allow you to earn more cash. Now, the reason why I haven't recommended using negative boosters, even if it's just for slot 1, and that is because you get them after you legacy for the first time. And if you've already legacied, then you pretty much know the game well enough to know what method works for you and how to earn cash. So it seems a bit silly for me to recommend them to everyone. But even so, I still believe that my method probably works the best. And yes, you can put in a negative booster for slot 1 if you want, but because it puts you at a disadvantage, I don't see how that's going to help you get more kills. Yes, you might earn more money for the kills you do get, but on the whole, your performance might not be as good as it could be, and therefore, you know, you might as well just not be using it in the first place. Just before I round off this video, there are a few smaller tips which I want to share with you, and these are regarding power weapons, rage quitting, and contracts, or missions as they're called. Now, power weapons will help you get easy kills. Don't be afraid to pick up a power weapon. Exercise caution when using explosives, such as the M32 hammer and the RPG, but pick them up, have a play, get some easy kills, helps with your earnings, helps with your stats. As bad a day as you're having, if you've been playing for a good 15 minutes in a game of Plunder, you don't want to rage quit. If you rage quit, you lose everything you've earned, and it's just a waste of time. Maybe, I know it's sometimes frustrating, but just, you know, dial it down a bit. Maybe you're rushing head into situations that you shouldn't be rushing into. Maybe you should just take up a covering position and help your teammates or something, or whatever. And contracts. Contracts, if you didn't know, are available in records. So they're called missions. And basically, you buy them and you try and complete them. And if you complete them in the allotted time, then you earn a certain amount of cash. Now, the ones at the very start, such as getting 12 kills with weapons and getting a few kills in certain game modes, these are really easy, and once you're confident enough to try them, I recommend you do go for them. But that is as far as I can go with recommending missions. The higher ones are a lot trickier to complete, and unlike contracts in COD games, Call of Duty games, these aren't based in game time, they're based in real time. So if you buy one and then you go for lunch and you come back, that thing is going to expire. So you make sure you are going to play, you make sure you are going to try and complete it. Don't buy it, go to bed and come back the next day expecting it to still be there for you to complete. Not going to happen. So if you haven't got half an hour to spend on that contract, or whatever the time frame is, don't buy it, because you will lose your money and it's just wasting your hard-earned cash. And that's pretty much it. Nothing too complex about this tactic. You can do it by yourself, or if you're in a party of friends, you know, then that can only help you. Remember that winning a game earns you a little bit more money, because you do get a win bonus. You get a cash win bonus. But even if you lose, if you've tried your best, sometimes things just don't go your way. That's life. But you know, you move on, next game, so on and so forth. So I hope this has been useful. Please let me know how you fare when trying it out. And until the next tutorial or other video that I decide to make, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, take care, and goodbye.